Hey, happy October. I'm just hanging out at the pond with the dogs and I'm just about to take them for a walk. And I thought you might want to come along. Why don't we take the dogs for a walk and we'll chat a bit. So this is my property. We just moved in recently, so I've got a lot of landscaping and a lot of things to do, but the dogs sure like it a whole lot. I've got this bottom pond here. Then up top there, we've got another pond. I don't know if you can see it with the gazebo there. We can go take a look at that in a minute. And so we fenced in about 5 acres for the dogs so they can run around and hunt frogs and whatever dogs love to do. We put some culverts in over the pond so I can get over the creek, I mean, that's the creek, and it's loaded with trout in the spring, which is pretty special. So how do you like my property, guys? The dogs seem to like it just fine. So it's been a bit of a whirlwind this October. Beginning of the month I was in Chicago for the Raw Natural Dog Summit, of course. Then from there it was a trip to Vegas, and then from Vegas I went to Austin and then over to Pennsylvania. And I've been giving some talks and doing some seminars and just talking about dogs and healthy things, and it's just been a lot of fun. But to be honest, I'm kind of happy to be home with my dogs and with my horses. So we talked about a whole lot of things at the seminars, but the one question, and I wrote a blog post about this probably a couple of months ago, and everybody asked me this question because unfortunately it's one of the biggest challenges that we have with our dogs today, and that is cancer. So my Alice and Audrey, they're 11 and a half now, about 1.5 years ago, they both had tumors. Audrey had a little wart-sized tumor on her side that just kept growing. It just kept growing at an alarming rate. And at the very same time, Alice had a mammary tumor. So I didn't know what to do with them. What I ended up doing was I found a vet, and I worked with Julianne Lee on this. We found a veterinarian who would remove these tumors and also inject the homeopathic remedy carcinosin into those wounds where the tumors were to help keep the tumors from growing back. So that was a big part of it. But everybody wanted to know, how did I follow up with their care? How are my dogs still cancer-free after those 2 scares? And so I want to share my really, really simple and easy approach with you. And the first one is just what you can see, fresh air and exercise. When it comes to cancer, I can't tell you how important exercise and the right kind of exercise is for your dog. Let's go over this way. It's a better view. But I want to talk about diet and supplements. First, I've already fed my dogs a raw diet for 25 years, so I didn't change that much there. The only thing I did was I added a really high quality fish oil to their diet. Now, for those of you who know me and know that I don't love fish oil, you might be surprised by that. But fish oil is good to use therapeutically. And I would say that if your dog has cancer, it's probably a good time for therapy. So for about 60 days, I loaded them up with a really high quality fish oil. For me, that's fish oil that comes in glass, not plastic. I'm just going to open the gate here for the dogs. I'm missing one. There she is. Alice, you coming, honey? Come on, Alice. Alice, come on. Okay, do what you're going to do, Alice. I think she wants to go swimming. There she comes. She's not ready to leave the pond yet. Yeah, so when you're looking at a fish oil, you want a really, really high quality fish oil that is in glass. Fish oil that's in capsules, the oxygen will get through the capsules and the fish oil will oxidize and go rancid, and that will increase inflammation in your dog. Of course, cancer is an inflammatory disorder. It's the result of chronic inflammation. So you're looking to reduce inflammation in your dog. So look for a high quality fish oil that's in glass, not in plastic. And if you have your capsules inside of glass, that's okay. But you will want to avoid the fish oil that's just in plastic. And for me, I use the Nutri-C brand, but there's other great brands out there. Now, the second thing I did was give my dog CBD oil, a high quality CBD oil. And I'll tell you, that's a lot harder to find than you would think. I'm just going to get the dogs out through the gate here. Give me a second to undo this gate. One of them got skunked last night. Whew, they don't smell so good because they're wet now. There they go. CBD oil. So, for a dog with cancer, I would do 500 milligrams to the small and medium guys and 1,000 milligrams a day for the larger dogs. And that's what I did for Alice and Audrey. Make sure it's a full spectrum hemp oil or CBD oil. You don't want to see an isolate because it doesn't work as well. If you look at the COA, ooh, almost fell in some mud there. If you look at the COA, or the certificate of analysis, I've got another gate here. Hang on. There they go. So, if you look at the certificate of analysis, what you want to see is more than one cannabinoid. There's more than one type of CBD, and you'll want to see at least 3 or 4 on there. The other thing you want to look for is a little bit of THC. Now, in order to be sold as a CBD oil and not cannabis, you need to see no more than 0.03% THC. That's the psychoactive component. But what you don't want to see is 0%. You want a little tiny bit of THC in there. Why? Because that's what will tell you that it's not an isolate, that it's a good quality CBD that comes with all of the substances in it that all work together to do a much better job of reducing inflammation and activating those immune pathways in your dog. So CBD was the first thing I did for my dogs. The second thing I did was medicinal mushrooms. There is, in my opinion, there is nothing that's better at stimulating and modulating your dog's immune system than medicinal mushrooms. I gave them to my dogs twice a day. I gave a 7 mushroom blend, and this is important, I made very, very sure that they were real whole mushrooms and not mycelium. Here's a newsflash. Most of the mushroom supplements that you'll buy for your pets and for yourself are mycelium. They're just more or less the roots of the mushroom. You want to look for the entire mushroom. Why? Because that's where the immune modulating components are. They're called beta-glucans, and you want your beta-glucans to come from the cell walls of the mushrooms, not from the rice or the oats or the sorghum that mycelium is grown in. Okay, so that's the second step of my cancer plan. The first, CBD oil. The second, medicinal mushrooms. About 200 milligrams of mushrooms from my large breed dogs twice a day. Now, the third supplement that I made sure they had was phytoplankton. Phytoplankton is a microscopic little green, I don't want to call it an algae, but it is like an algae species. And it's just little teeny tiny microscopic things that float in the ocean, and they feed and fuel the entire ocean. Now, what's great about phytoplankton is that cancer, one of the theories on cancer growth is that it's linked to the breakdown of the little power plants in your dog's cells called mitochondria. Now, what's really, really cool about phytoplankton is that they're small enough that they can get through the cell and directly nourish and support the mitochondria. And I think that's pretty cool. So, on to number 4. And really, this is a simple list. Number 4 is berries. My goodness, I cannot say enough good things about feeding your dogs berries and fruits in general. Why is that? Because berries and fruits and some vegetables are rich in phytochemicals, in flavonoids, flavonoids, resveratrol, all these little tiny phytochemicals that do a few things. The first is they feed the healthy or beneficial bacteria in your dog's gut. And this is important because those beneficial bacteria actually talk with his immune system and help to reduce inflammation. And remember, cancer and virtually all chronic diseases are inflammatory diseases. Now, another reason you're going to want to give them is because they're powerful antioxidants. Cancer is related to a buildup of little things called free radicals. Free radicals are they build up like rust in the body, and they're the byproduct of just everything. Just metabolism, toxins, environmental things, they just build up like rust in the body. And if they build up excessively, they can start to create cancer and inflammation in your dog. Berries and fruits are loaded with antioxidant. Antioxidants tend to donate their electrons to these free radicals, and that makes them very stable, and it slows down that rusting up of the body. So let's review really quickly. When my dogs had cancer, I did really 5 things. The first, CBD. For a Labrador-sized dog, I did 1,000 milligrams. The second thing I did for them was medicinal mushrooms. I did a 7 mushroom blend. I don't know what that was up the hill. I did a 7 mushroom blend, and I gave them 200 milligrams of each of those mushrooms twice a day. The third thing that I did was I gave them phytoplankton. The fourth thing I did was I loaded them up on fresh fruits and berries. As a matter of fact, research shows that feeding your dog fruits and berries reduces his cancer risk. So of course I'm going to do that. And number 5 is what I'm doing right now. Fresh air, exercise, and just a little bit of less stress throughout the day for all 7 of us. So anyway, guys, that's my cancer plan, short and sweet. In the comments below, I'll send you to the blog post that talks about this a little bit more if you want more information. And in the meantime, hopefully it's a nice day tomorrow and we'll go for another dog walk. I'll talk to you later.